Howdy peeps, and welcome back to the channel, or welcome if it's your first time here. Today I thought it's about time we had a look around my tanks, see what's going on. So we will be looking around all of the tanks I currently have up and running. I think it's 13. And we'll start off with what is lovingly referred to as the Fluval Fish Farm. The 15-gallon Fluval Flex, home to the Chopray Glow Light Danios, complete with the one that still can't decide what colour it wants to be. The breeding pair of bristle noses, Spotty and Ginger. What is now my oldest fish, Panda Cory. And just the male crib now, the female Mrs. Crib. Unfortunately, she passed away. Here we go, there's Ginger, long fin super red. They had a bit of a squabble. He basically was twice her size, so obviously one pecked her eye out. She got over that, she healed up from that, but no, being blind on one side, she did struggle to find food, and he kept sort of pecking at her, and eventually, unfortunately, she didn't make it. You can see we have a strange contraption here still. Breeder box, there's about 50 baby bristlenose plecos in there, and we're overdue another batch, so yeah, you never know. And so there's a miraculous colour changing Danio. It's been like that for over a year, so God knows why. No one seems to know. I call it fish vitiligo. Loses the pigment, then comes back and goes again, and we see what happens. Now the next tank, also a source of some sadness, as this is where we had, for a very short while at least, Marco and Flor, the Epistogramma agassizi. Now they literally both died on exactly the same day. But the Ember Tetras were perfectly fine. So theory is they probably got ammonia burning, shipping or something like that. But they've been replaced with a pair of Aphius semian australi, or red lyre-tailed killifish, who either seem to lay about not doing much or go on full-scale zoomies around the tank. Obviously, like most of my tanks, there are snails in here as well. Well, all of my tanks have snails in. But yeah, the killies have been in well over a week now. Female's probably just hiding up, so the male's out and about. As you can see, very small, but they'll grow up. And somehow, you know, Malaysian trumpet snails seem to turn up everywhere around here. Then onto the newest tank, which is the Fluval Flex 9-gallon, which I don't think has been seen on video yet, which is currently home to my CPDs and half a dozen pygmy cories. A couple of the CPDs under the wood, and one of the pygmy cories just down there, probably all hiding up somewhere. Tends to happen. And yeah, I'll say the tank's been set up a little while now. It's all going well, no problems, everyone's happy and healthy. I think pygmy cories are all just like having a snooze at the moment. They tend to do that fairly regularly. Now time for a patented Sharpie fade to black, mainly just to avoid the carnage that is generally my living room. And over to what was Engelbert, the Better's tank. And again, more sad news there. Engelbert passed, unfortunately, and is now home to a small colony of what were bought as blue topaz near Caradina. I think basically blue dreams by any other name. They seem to be doing fairly well as well. It should be 10 in here. Hopefully not too long before we have shrimplets. That is the plan anyway. As you can see, very pretty little shrimps, and again nerite snails, and just a sponge filter. That's a 15 litre tank, which is why we haven't got anything too big in there. Another fade to black. As we move around the corner to the other shrimply tank, the one I had to remove all the snails out of because I treated it for planaria. Well, the planaria's all gone. It gets fairly well algified during the course of the week, but as you can likely see, lots and lots of shrimplies in here now. It's a complete Skittles tank, complete mix. We have reds, greens, blues, blacks, wilds, rillies, yellows, oranges. There's even a black one with a red stripe, which is kind of cool. But yeah, you might not be able to see, but there are hundreds in there. And if I try and get a bit closer, see if it will still focus. I mean, that's just the pile that are out looking for food down there, let alone how many are hiding up in all that moss. We do have Daphnia in here, or seed shrimp of some description, but they're not a problem. They're not going to eat the fish or eat the shrimp. If I get a lot in there, I just get an airline siphon, suck them out and stick them in a tank as food for fish. But they're currently down there feeding on some of Mark's shrimp tank's nettle mix, which goes down very well. We've got some more saddled and buried females in there as well, so the numbers will be going up in there again. So there's currently around about 200, I think. Probably a few more than that, but you know, that's a 20 litre tank. And if we move across slightly, come to the big 200 litre, an absolutely coolest fishy in the world ever, trademark. There he is, there's my little spazzy boy, the Senegal Baisha, Bishir, whichever you want to pronounce it. He's doing what he does, eats anything that fits in his mouth. Then we have the 3 happy caras. Sorry, electric blue caras. As you can see, there's Donkey. He donked his head on something again. The 2 clown loaches, which are getting good and fat and growing rather well. Growing rather more quickly than I would have thought anyway. Yeah, so we've got the 3 electric blue acaras, and somewhere in here is also a couple of bristle noses in Bertie and Dave, both females. And the miracle fish, somehow there are still 2 ember tetras and a harlequin rasbora that haven't been eaten by Spaz yet. I mean, he's gone through at least 50 guppies, 4 rasboras. Oh, you might just be able to see Bertie's back end waggling about down there. And he's also eaten the bamboo shrimp and the giant African wood shrimp. Oh, and there's Dave, she just popped out as well. So, yeah, all going well in there. Let's do a filter clean, but quick rotate down to the Shelly tank and then Neolampologus similis. Again, all going well. Occasional bit of a territorial squabble because some of the young are getting quite large now. I have split quite a few out. There's at least 30 in there, so you know, a little overcrowded, but once I find somewhere that will take the young, we will start selling those on as well. Again, that's just a Fluval Flex 15 gallon. Bit of algae in there, mainly because they keep killing any snails I put in. Minor problem. Hey, easy enough to clean up a bit of algae. And if we come over here, we're at the fry rack. Just had a few changes. So now in this tank it is juvenile cribs, juvenile bristlenoses, running fluval U1 filter. I've got the air turned off at the moment because Zach kept pulling the air line out for some reason. He didn't like these tanks having air. So you can see bristlenoses good, fat and happy, as they should be. This one we have some slightly larger cribs, some slightly smaller bristlenoses, Cookie Monster, and a coconut hut, which I'm probably going to have to remove because I've got a funny feeling someone might be nesting in it, and the last thing I need is more cribs at the moment. This one is currently empty and switched off, so yeah, not a problem there. This one has literally got some cribs in it. That's it. They're all hiding up at the moment. And here's some of my overflow of shelly dwellies. Oh, here is my overflow tank of shelly dwellies. And yeah, just getting on doing what they do. This is the most recent spawn of cribs, so there's quite a lot in there, but you know, we'll get there. We'll find someone who wants a bunch of cribs at some point. But then in the tub underneath, which is going to be way too dark for anyone to see anything, even if I take the lid off. So what I shall do is grab my handy dandy magnetic torch and try not to blind anyone. As you can see, there's not that many bristlenoses in there now. There's about 50 or 60 perhaps. There are some cribs in here as well. A particularly chonkers boy at the back there, and a longfin beside him. See if we can see anyone else, shall we? Yeah. One of those who I guarantee if I lifted that the size of that one on the wood. Yeah, guarantee if I lift that bit of wood out, there will be a lot of bristlenoses dropping off of it. The cribbies are usually hidden up inside either the flower pots or the coconut hut. You might see the occasional one popping about, but that's it. That's what we have at the moment. So I hope you've found that either interesting or something. Finish off with a bit more spaz as he's hunting for food in amongst the dwarf Sagittaria. Big fat belly on him. Look at that. Look at the size of that. Hey, you're definitely not going hungry, are you, buddy? So there we go. Thanks for watching. If you've made it this far, most people don't. Don't forget, like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff. Enjoy your fish keeping, or whichever hobby you choose. Peace out. Rock on. Bye bye.